examples from all sorts of times, time periods, geographies, regions, politics, or otherwise business, maybe even your own organization. Now, it is some soft skill inside them which is creating success for them, isn't it? Whether it be Gandhi or say Barack Obama or Modi or maybe some CEO in your organization, Sudha Murthy, whoever, right? They have something inside them which in your mind makes them successful, right? So what are those skills inside them? According to you, what do they have? What does Sudha Murthy have? What does a Modi have? What does a Narayan Murthy have? What does Ratan Tata have? According to you, just one or two skills, one or two ideas that come to your mind in terms of soft skill capability that each of these leaders have, which makes them successful. Anubha?
Yeah, you will be surprised, Puneet. People, the audience have already started answering. EQ level is high, humanistic approach. They're very empathetic. They're visionary. So Deepak says empathy. Vivek says understanding their people. Shilpa Vadva says clarity of goals. Hassanbul says visionary. Kaval mentioned empathetic and visionary. People management skills by Babita. Kanat says far-sightedness, amazing. Ankita mentioned discipline. Parul says make a connect with people. We have again visionary coming up. So great competencies. Again, Lakshya mentioning networking. Taking people all together towards the growth to achieve goal by Vikrant. Ankita says resilience as one of the key factors and one of the competencies. Also, Vaishali mentioned that they have reached there from ground level. Shampa mentioned they act and decide on spots against the rules if they believe that it is to be right to do the moment. Compassion by Soma, team skills by Manpreet. Dilip says ethical value system in the success of any business. Communication, excuse me, by Shubhendu. Pardon me for that. And again, being visionary. So I think, again, a great insight and thoughts from the audience. Thank you so much, guys. All to you, Puneet.
Yeah, fantastic. So, first thing I must say that this is an amazing batch, right? Extremely intelligent, very sensitive, very aware, thinks like the contemporary times and is at the cutting edge of the contemporary times, because the kind of ideas that you're talking of are at the leading edge of what it needs to be a responsible and a proactive human being in the society today. So you're talking of absolutely the right ideas. Now, so if we were to take an essence out of all the things that you have said, yeah, maybe we might have left out one or two here or there, but essentially you're saying people need to have people skills. They had self-awareness. Some of them were creative, intuition, vision, patience, responsibility, purpose, and so on and so forth. So it is these soft skills or these kind of soft skills which make these leaders stand out among their peers and make them one of a kind among millions, in fact. What is the percentage that is soft success? Well, Stan says 87.5%. You can almost assume it's 90% plus, right? If they didn't have this, even if they had all the domain knowledge, where would they go? So it is these soft skills, right? They are so critical. Let's take one of these soft skills and drill deep into what creates this competence in a soft skill. Because we are going into the root of success, right? To the root cause of success. So success is caused by soft skills. There are many soft skills. Let's pick up one of those. And let's choose creativity. Let's take up creativity. So I'll pose a very interesting thought to ponder upon at this point. Think of this common between these three things: how a star is born, how a baby is born, and how a seed becomes a sapling. What is common to all of this? Any
Okay, so
thoughts?
we'll put it this to again to the audience. Thank you, Puneet.
Yeah.
Audience, if you could just help us out and share what is the commonality between all the three statements, that is how a star is born, how a baby is born, and how a seed becomes a sapling. What is the one common thing in all of them? It takes time, Vishali says. Zeri says growth. Okay. Suchi says again growth. Babita says they all are nurtured. Very nice. Pooja talks about change. That's a very insightful start. Okay. Love, care, compassion, nurture. Thank you so much, Shampa, for all the four of them. Ismana says how we communicate with them. Ram Kulkarni says it's a creation of new. Ankit mentions evolution. Manpreet mentioned realization and acceptance. Wow. Okay. And we see again situation, definitely by Mahindra. You feed them with the right inputs by Shampa. Giraj says growth in a culture. Okay. And Vikrant says early stage or growing with surroundings. That's another one. Right environment. Okay. Compassion by Kaval. So great. Thank you so much. Over to you, Puneet. Very nice and soulful. So even the roots become very important.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Please.
So I heard I heard the responses that you're giving. Now, a lot of these resources lie to maybe one, two, maybe some even all three categories. But we are going to the root of what is ruling this entire process. The process of a star being born, a baby being born, a seed becoming a sapling. Is there like a deep underlying insight, a secret hiding somewhere? The secret of creation itself? So the very first thing is that, yeah, these are creative processes because we are talking creativity. So these are all, in fact, these are the most creative processes that happen around us. Imagine gases come together, some dust comes together over a billion years, and in a flash of a moment, it becomes a star. With the help of gravity and electromagnetism, it becomes a star, right? That's how our sun was born, from which are born planets, and from which comes life, and from which comes dinosaurs, and then finally comes a human being, and so on and so forth. It's such an incredibly creative process, right? A baby being born. In our personal experience as human beings, and there must be many parents on this group right now, has there been anything more creative in your own life than seeing the birth of your own baby? Very difficult to compare with anything else, anything that you may do otherwise. Third example, a seed becoming a tree. What an incredible, joyful thing to behold. I mean, you, even if, forget a tree, just a simple sapling, just put a just put some dal and put it for sprout. The next morning you see sprouts out there. Each time I see those sprouts, I say, oh my god, something has happened here. Now the thing is this, all of these are creative processes. Now I'm going to share with you a very deep secret about creativity. you know where what enables the creative process, right? That secret is what I'm going to share with you. And this lies at the heart of all these three processes that I've spoken of, all these three phenomena, whether it be an intergalactic phenomena, a human phenomena, or an extra human phenomena. It's all that secret remains the same. What's that secret? All of these processes occur in deep silence. You know, if you were to take a seed and put it on the surface of the earth, expose it to sunlight, straight away it'll die. It'll shrivel up and die in no time. It has to go into that deep dark space. You have to bury it under the soil. It has to lie there in that silence and that calm space for some time before it sprouts. Look at a baby in the womb. It is practically in deep silence and stillness for 9 months. It's in a deep, silent, personal space. It is not exposed to the outside world. If it is exposed to the outside world, it will die. exposed to the outside world, well, that's where the story gets over, right? So it has to wait more and remain in that deep silent space before creation becomes complete. As far as the universe is concerned, the minute a spacecraft leaves the atmosphere of the Earth, there is no sound. The entire universe is in deep silence since infinite time and will remain in infinite silence for infinite time. And while it is in this silence, it is creating galaxies after galaxies. It is at its creative peak all the time. So all these processes require an incredible amount of stillness and silence, right? This is the root. Below, beneath this, there is no further layer that you can discover. This absolute silence is where all creation comes from. To give you another example, the ocean has waves, but only on the surface. Inside, the ocean is absolutely calm. It's just still water inside. So it is that stillness of the water inside which gives rise to the waves on the top. So it is this, always any creative process requires stillness. Yeah. Look at some examples in your own life. If some of you have ever created poetry, it has sprung out of your heart in a silent moment. If you have painted something out of an inspirational moment, that inspiration came to you in a moment. You know, when Newton sat down under that apple tree, he was actually contemplating what to do because he had spent so many years inventing calculus, integral, differential calculus, and he didn't know what to do. He sat down under a tree to rest. And in that moment, the apple dropped on his head and he discovered gravity. Archimedes, he didn't know the formula, but he sat down in a bathtub, he relaxed, went into a silent space, and he suddenly discovered, the formula for flotation. He ran naked in the streets shouting Eureka. So creative thoughts come from a deep silent space, right? So creativity requires deep silent space within. What about the other soft skills? Can you have disturbance in your mind and be good at people skills? Will you have self-awareness if you have disturbance inside? Will you have intuition if you are disturbed within? What about vision? Patience? When you're disturbed, are you ever patient? Is a person who is disturbed ever responsible or have purpose? The answer is obvious, right? Making yourself silent is in fact a key enabler of, therefore, it is a key determinant to your success. Indeed, if we were to put just one driver of success, I would say it is a silent, still mind, which is the single most critical driver of success in life. So we come back to our original question now. Think about making your mind silent or experiencing silence within. Is it a spiritual goal or is it a business goal? It's actually both.
Wow.
So we began the discussion by asking a question, or rather posing a trick question, that spirituality and business are opposites, right? And a lot of you intuitively know and feel that no, that doesn't really sound right. Somewhere there is an overlap. This is that overlapping point. This is where these two worlds converge. Spirituality enables you to silence your mind, and the world outside of you requires the silence of your mind for you to perform to your fullest. When you perform to your fullest, you're creative, you have vision, you're responsible, you have purpose, you have people skills, you have compassion, you have empathy, you have all those things which you have listed about those leaders, which they exhibit because they become successful.